It's difficult to find direct influences from India from the pre-colonial period in the Philippines. However, Indian cultural ideas, elements, and practices are still evident in the country today. This probably is a result of the busy Southeast Asian maritime trade routes of the time. So today, we will explore and investigate these elements through our food and create a flavorful marriage of these two cuisines.
Ang sarap agad!
As a food content creator, I love exploring cultures through their diverse flavors. And I believe food is the best way to connect all of us. This is why it's important for me to also introduce Filipino food on the international stage. But before doing that, we need to understand our roots first. According to Ajit Singh Rai, Indian soldiers or sepoys stayed in the Philippines during the British occupation of Manila in 1762, and that may have birthed India's influence in Filipino cuisine. During this time, the sepoys arrived and later settled in the east of Manila, in Cainta. Together with missing their homeland cuisine, their spices started depleting as well. The sepoys adapted by creating a version of curry or sauce in Tamil using achiote. The sepoys battled their curry along the Pasig River in huts called karihan, indicating proximity to travelers. And over the years, the Tagalogs got well acquainted with the dish until an array of variations were made with anato, peanuts, and bagoong alamang, gaining popularity over time. While it's also possible that the present-day kare-kare was inspired by the Kapampangan Kare, which we'll explore more later, and the Moro people with similar dishes from Sulu, Tawi-Tawi in neighboring countries like Malaysia and Indonesia, these anecdotes reveal the influence of India on our cuisine. It's no wonder that some dishes utilize the same ingredients to spotlight parallel flavors. Like our kare-kare, a rich and savory peanut-based stew with your chosen meat topped with vegetables, Indians are also fond of their peanut-infused mutton salna. Served usually with biryani or parota, mutton salna is a coconut-based spicy and rich gravy with mutton. So, on this journey to the ultimate fusion of Indian and Filipino dishes, we are first heading to Pampanga to learn about the kare-kare and its potential Indian-influenced origin. First stop is to meet Sir Ruston.
I'm a morning person.
Ruston Banal is a Kapampangan interdisciplinary artist and visual ethnographer who integrates photography, cinema, and conventional art production in his creative work. He is also a 3-time Ani ng Dangal awardee of the National Commission for Culture and the Arts. His work focuses on prominent figures, culinary history, and gastronomy of his hometown, Pampanga.
I'm excited because I'm gonna meet a fellow food nerd. Sir Ruston! Hello po!
Kumusta?
Abi po! I always hear Kapampangan, Pampanga, Kapampangans do this. So I feel like there's a whole culinary world out there. And it's my first time exploring. So I'm really excited. But to be honest, I don't know what to expect. Which makes it more exciting. So I'm wondering po, how would you describe Kapampangan cuisine?
Of course, there are influences like they have the Malay,
Yeah.
Chinese, Spanish, but heavily influenced ng mga Chinese.
I'm wondering, ano yung mga local or Filipino ingredients na you can see in Pampanga?
So this is an ingredient usually put in asado. We call it asadong matwa or asadong matanda.
Basically, dehydrated siya na some kind of plant.
Para siyang, it's a generic term for spices, the dried leaves. So ito yung naging common na household ingredient na pag gusto mo magluto ng kare-kare, yan yung tatakbuhan mo. Kasi hindi na kami gaya nung dati na yung mga lola ko na
Grind your own peanuts.
mag-roast ng peanut at saka ng bigas. Yan kasi, ginawa na nila yun para sa atin.
Pero super appropriate yung flavors niya for kare-kare.
For kare-kare.
Because of that distinct flavor. Pag nagmamadali ka na, you know, just grab the DDs.
Yes, yes.
Yung Kapampangan Kare-Kare is already an innovation of traditional. Ano po ba yung binigay ni Kapampangan cuisine sa kare-kare?
I tried to check all this available old recipes. So pareho sila ng process, pareho sila ng ingredient. Wala akong nakikitang difference dun sa magiging lasa niya. In terms of geographical location niya, kung ano yung magiging lasa niya, I don't think meron siyang difference.
Oh, okay.
As compared dun sa curry na in-introduce ng mga sepoys na walang peanut. And yung peanut kasi, it's recent innovation yan document.
But do you think po yung kare-kare is derivative from curry?
I believe, kasama nung mga recent na parang meta-analysis ng mga culinary historian.
Yes.
Sabi nila parang, pag sinabing kare-kare, parang gaya-gaya, parang kare-kare na lang yan, parang ganun siya. I think that's where it started. Pero curry itself, nagaling siya sa isang generic term ng Indian food na pag sinabing curry, it's a mixture of different spices to create a sauce. Siguro dito sa Pilipinas, dahil in-introduce yung sauce nitong mga sepoys, nagkaroon na siya ng ibang context.
Yes.
Because they modified it according sa available ingredients.
Yes.
Especially sa kainta. Kasi yung mga sepoys, nag-saturate sila sa kainta Rizal. Kaya doon dumami yung karinderya. Kung saan nanggaling, yung kasing karinderya nanggaling sa
Karinderya?
Oh.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh
Kaya
my
maraming
God!
Korean doon.
Nare-realize ko na meron talagang connection ang Indian food with our local cuisine.
Yes, yes.
Why do you think it's important for people to know the origins of the food they're eating?
I call it provenance, parang pinanggalingan, parang province, di ba?
Yes.
So, important kasi dun mo ma-identify yung kultura mo as a person living in that region. Pag alam mo yung supply chain, meron kang awareness sa supply chain kung saan nanggagaling pagkain mo. Probably in the near future, yung mga younger generations can solve the problems ng gutom. Kasi yun naman ang goal natin, pakainin yung lahat. Diba? Yun.
And I always say na food is not just something you consume to survive, or it's not just a mixture of different ingredients, but it holds a cultural significance. It has history, just like we talked about today, and I'm really glad that we can trigger discussions with food. A great use for the internet, di ba? Sobrang swerte namin, nahanap namin itong karinderya na to kasi ang sarap nila magtimpla.
So we have titad. This is also identified as a pre-colonial dish.
Gawa po saan?
Combination ng buong dugo at saka liquefied na dugo. Yun. Tapos, dalawa siya, either bituka or tenga ng baboy or face.
Mukhang tenga po ito.
Tenga
kasi
yan.
may cartilage.
So yung Pampanga kasi, ayaw niya nang nagtatapon. Even yung mga dinidiscard na mga parts, ginagawan pa niya ng paraan para maging ulam siya.
Yeah.
Like itong titad. At kagaya din nitong kare-kare, made of tuwalya ng baka at saka yung kanyang oxtail.
Yes. Ang napansin ko rin is, similar to Indian cuisine, since we're using different kinds of protein, and here we're using yun nga, yung mga mascara or yung mga usual parts ng meat na dinidiscard na, we heavily rely on the sauce.
Yes, sa sauce.
Yes.
Actually.
Doon tayo nagpe-pay attention to make the sauce really great using the condiments available to us, spices. So for this one, dugo and vinegar. And for kare-kare, we have alamang bagoong on the side, peanuts.
Peanuts, yes.
Pero,
parang pag kinain mo siya, ang daming nangyayari sa bibig mo, di ba? Dito sa Pampanga, I think, merong two major influences sa pagkain yung mga Indians. So bukod sa kare-kare, dito sa Pampanga, we have the biringi. So it's more like a Tamil influence siya na dish.
This made me think of all the other ingredients that could be linked between India, Tamil Nadu, and the rest of Southeast Asia. Our pickled papaya achara for one, sounding very familiar to the Indian achar or perhaps our yellow chicken curry.
The curry of India gave a spark to Filipinos to come up with these viands like kare-kare.
It's an innovation na indigenize cuisine ng mga Pilipino ang kare-kare, na siguro yung form and content, hindi na recognizable yung curry na in-introduce ng mga sepoys. Pero it doesn't mean na hindi na tayo nagpe-pay respect dun sa unang dish na na-introduce kasi we still use the same name.
Yeah.
Nag-iba lang yung format tsaka content. But until today, we attribute the provenance dun sa mga sepoys. Hindi nawala yun, di ba? So, nirerespeto natin yung kasaysayan ng pagkain. Dahil hindi naman nawawala yung pag-unravel natin sa kasaysayan niya na nanggaling siya sa mga Indians. Actually, yung sauce na yan, meron pang isasarap yan.
Totoo.
Kasi meron akong kaibigan na may-ari ng pinakamalaking buffet na resto sa buong Pampanga. So
Nice.
it's one of the best kare-kare na natikman ko sa buong buhay pa.
Ay, punta po natin.
Punta natin.
Tara!
After our educational trip to the market, I secured a few ingredients for Kapampangan Kare-Kare. Katrina Roque is owner of Bariotic Kitchen and Garden in Florida Blanca, Pampanga. She serves heirloom Kapampangan dishes like kilayin, tintad, and asadong matwa. For her, this is a step towards reintroducing to the community Kapampangan cuisine. During the pandemic, she started posting on Facebook under the name Kapampangan Dishes from the Barrios, where she posts her home-cooked meals for her 34,000 followers. And most of her ingredients are sourced from her backyard farm. Katrina advocates for the preservation of traditional Kapampangan dishes and hopes to promote food security in the process.
Kain na kayo.
Thankfully, Miss Katrina allowed me to assist her in cooking her signature dish.
Ang for kare-kare. Hello po.
Hello.
Abi po.
Katrina.
Nice to meet you po, Miss Katrina. What makes Kapampangan Barrio dishes different than other Kapampangan dishes or from other cuisines na rin?
Barrio cuisine kasi simple lang. Yan, basic lang yung ingredients namin.
Opo.
Ang nagpapasarap lang yung proseso.
Tsaka yung timpla. Easily accessible, staple yung ingredients.
Oo.
So, mas nagpo-focus sa technique.
Oo, at saka kung anong available ingredients namin, yun ang ginagamit namin.
Ang principle ko po kasi pag gumagawa ako ng video is dapat easily replicable at home yung mga recipes. And part of that is including affordable and easily accessible ingredients.
Oo.
So, mas nagpo-focus po ako sa techniques. So, when you post on your Facebook page or when you talk about Kapampangan dishes, do you try to keep it as traditional as
Yeah.
possible? Or do you also innovate sometimes?
Nandun ako, nililin ako sa traditional.
Okay.
Kasi kung hindi naman siya magulo, hindi naman siya pangit, ba't mo siya guguluhin?
Yeah.
Ba't mo siya iibahin?
May mga taong pwedeng gumawa ng innovation,
Yeah,
but there has to be someone
Yeah.
who does it traditionally. And that is
Hindi, opinion ko lang naman yun.
Hindi,
I'm
that
just
is you.
doing my own style of
I
cooking.
agree naman po, I agree.
Akala ko, normal lang na niluto ko lang na pang-araw-araw lang namin,
Yeah.
di ba?
Opo.
Ngayon pala, nakakalimutan na ng iba. So yung iba, natutuwa sila sa page kasi yung mga nakalimutan na dishes, nakikita uli nila.
So, paano po ba gawin ang pinakamasarap na kare-kare?
Luto lang muna tayo ng atsuete.
Yung mantika po yung kinukulayan.
Oo.
Nice. Kailangan mabilis kumilos.
Pakihawakan ito.
Yun. Okay. Bango! Ang sarap agad! Ano pong partito ng baka?
Tuwalya,
Tuwalya,
maskara,
maskara.
at saka buntot.
Gaano po katagal ito pinakuluan?
3 hanggang lumambot.
Wow. What makes kare-kare kare-kare? Like, is it the ingredients?
Mani.
Mani?
Pag walang mani, hindi na siya kare-kare. Yun lang ang nagpapasarap sa kare-kare.
Yung pagiging colorful niya, nagpapa-complete dun sa overall effect sa'yo, sa yung collective memories. Kasi pag nakita mo pa lang yung kulay, naalala mo yung kulay ng bata ka, ganun yung
Sumasaya ka
kulay,
na.
sumasaya ka na, di ba? So, ganun siya ka-powerful.
So, atsuete for color, peanut butter, or any form of peanut.
Yes, yes.
For context, by the end of this video, my goal is to create an Indian-Filipino fusion. And the Filipino side of it is kare-kare. So I will try to get the best things about what Indians do to their Mutton Salna and the essence or the best things you can do for kare-kare. So that's it. Thank you po so much, Miss Katrina and Sir Ruston. I feel super ready now to explore more about what I can do with the dish. I feel more attached to my roots now. Hindi na ako maka-cancel kasi back to food historian yung theories ko. And thank you so much. This has been an honor. I feel like I'm getting more confident with what I'm going to do. Filipino aspect done. Let's tackle another beast, Mutton Salna. So for this episode, I tried to convince the producers na bisitahin namin tong favorite Indian restaurant ko in Cainta, Rizal. And tapos, biglang sabi ni Sir Ruston na historically, ang mga Indians pala ay nag-migrate at gumawa ng community sa ding 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 Cainta, Rizal. Boogsh!
The ties between the Philippines and India go as far back as at least the 10th century through trade. Various influences are evident through records of an Indianized Rajanate of Cebu founded by Sri Lumay or Raja Muda Lumaya, a prince from India's Tamil Chola, and even an Indianized kingdom in Butuan with records of trade with the Champa civilization and the Srivijaya Empire. Additionally, there are words in the Philippine language borrowed from Sanskrit, some of them related to religious practices such as Bathala, Diwata, and Likha. Over time, the cultural links between the Philippines and India deepened, with Indic influences leaving remarkable traces in our language, religious beliefs, customs, and traditions.
To be honest, nung una ko nakita yung place, I was like, first time ko ma-immerse sa isang Indian kitchen. And as expected, it's colorful, it's hot, it's bustling with people, with flavors, with ingredients. Ngayon gumagawa sila ng naan. They have dough made of flour, maida, all-purpose. And then water, just water and salt. So,
Sugar and salt.
Oh, okay. Can I also try?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I'll try.
It's good.
It's good? Yeah! Indian approved. Hindi niya tina-turn. Look at the skill. Simultaneously, niro-roll niya and umiikot na rin yung dough. And I think I know why. So normally, you would just do this, right? Oh, I'm doing it! I'm doing it! So I think the technique is, one hand is heavier than the other, right? Yeah. Am I doing good?
Yeah.
You can hire me now. Okay. What we discovered from our first trial is, bago ka magsalang ng naan, you have to wisik-wisik water with salt. Asin daw, para magkaroon din ng lasa yung walls nung oven, and in turn, ma-flavor niya yung surface nung naan. So I'm really interested dito sa gravy nila na ginagamit nilang base for butter chicken and also the mushroom paneer masala. So, ano po ba itong ginagamit nyo? What's it
Ito ma'am,
made of?
gravy, nilagay ng sibuyas, cashew, tapos luya, bawang,
Ah, so aromatics.
tapos kulong,
Okay.
blender lang.
Blender.
Oh, tapos
So,
ulit,
meron siyang
kulong pa.
cashew. Wow, interesting. Honestly, if you asked me to make this video a year ago, 2 years ago, I would have zero idea about anything. But as a food content creator, part of my job is to actively study and explore other cuisines. It makes you ask, ano ba yung nandun? What makes it so delicious? What makes it so balanced? Because even for me, when I tried Indian food for the first time, wala akong masabi kasi hindi ko alam kung anong nandun. Hindi ko alam kung ano yung ingredients na yon. Alam ko lang masarap siya. So later, we will be trying the Mutton Salna na pinaghihinalaan nating medyo similar sa kare-kare. But before that, I really wanted to try these dishes na talagang kinakain nila everyday, normally, out of the hotels, in their households. Ako yung dakilang hype man ng panipuri sa FEATR, sa Patkin Inside. Nung nag-Thailand kami, kumain kami sa Indian restaurant. Binilan ko ng panipuri lahat ng tao. Kasi panipuri is not just food. It's an experience. Wala siyang katulad in our cuisine, I think. It's basically this. Meron kang panipuri balls. It's basically like a cracker. It's usually flat, parang kropek. But when you fry it, it turns into a ball that's hollow inside. And it becomes this small bowl na lalagyan mo ng different ingredients. In here, meron silang sides na aloo. Aloo is potato in Hindi. And let's dissect it. I'm gonna be a total food nerd here. Coriander, onions, meron ring black chickpeas. Tsaka ito na yung aloo or yung potatoes. So let's get a bit of everything. So lalagyan ko ng water itong balls. And then now it's like a mini flavor bomb. Let's try. What's fascinating to me is yung pinaka-gravy nila dito, which is a base for their butter chicken, for a lot of their dishes, ay may ground cashews. The same as kare-kare. And ito yan, subukan natin. So what I like about what they're doing here is yung butter chicken nila, they use whole chops of chicken, bone in, so there's more chances for it to be juicy. And they fry it separately from the actual sauce. Let's try. Sarap! Masarap! I love it! But I'm gonna save room because we're gonna try the mutton curry. We weren't able to see it being cooked, but I asked the staff. Ito daw ay niluluto sa blended tomatoes with onions, and then yung spices na na-introduce sa atin earlier. Mutton, I think, it has a reputation of being expensive, but it's their option because merong kind of religious affiliation. So, mutton is a good option for them. Okay, so try natin. Sorry na si speechless ako kasi when I try food, the first thing I really do is try to analyze what's in there. And now I am dumbfounded. Kasi hindi ko na naman alam kung anong nangyayari. Pero ang sarap niya. Tasting the mutton curry at Star Punjabi really set the standards high. Now I've gotten a good grasp of what everyday Indian flavors are. Let's head out and meet Chef Rohit at Fairmont Makati to see his own take on Indian cuisine, especially the Mutton Salna. Let's go. Let's go.
Chef Rohit Bisht is Raffles Fairmont Makati's sous chef for Indian and Arabic cuisines. He has trained in Italy, Arab countries, India, and now with almost a year in the Philippines. He aims to forward the flavors of India while discovering the beauty of Filipino cuisine.
So I'm really excited to meet Chef Rohit and really focus on the elements, how to make mutton tender, how to balance all the spices. And I'm sure he's gonna have the answers. This is a lot of onions. Like how many onions
Because
is this?
is around 250 grams of onion because it's base of peanuts and onion. Mostly when we'll cook this blend, flavory, thick gravies.
Okay. And then are we gonna caramelize this?
Yeah, I will caramelize.
Okay. So what does the typical Indian pantry look like? It's a lot of spices.
It's lots of spices, different
Yeah.
type of spice, colorful type of
Colorful.
spice. Yeah,
The kitchen is colorful.
Yeah, it's
and
colorful.
then I see you would also have like a spice box.
Yeah, even I have also a spice box.
Your personal spice
Yeah, it's
box.
my secret spice
Yes.
box.
And that is maybe a quarter of a kilo.
Yeah, half kg around.
Okay. And we're gonna brown.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to roast this.
While the dough is resting, Chef Rohit gets back to the curry paste and adds some turmeric, fennel seed powder that he roasts himself, coriander powder, some cumin, and chili powder. To achieve his desired consistency, he cooks the lamb chops first at high heat, lowers it down, turns it up again, and lowers it for the last time until the sauce is reduced. Once done with the sauce, Chef Rohit returns to the dough to transform it into leche parata. And the fun part? He even let me have a go at it.
So ito na nga, wag na daw lagyan ng anything acidic ang kare-kare. And tomatoes is acidic, but Chef Rohit added that to his mutton salna. But looking at the process, he really broke down these tomatoes by simmering it so much that it's melted. All of the acid has been cooked off. So ang matitira na lang sa kanya is this sweet tomato deep flavor, which I think will complement and not negate the essence of kare-kare. So, if I want to make a fusion between kare-kare and mutton salna,
Okay.
I want to know what makes mutton salna mutton salna.
Mutton salna
Yeah.
actual.
So, Chef Rohit, what is something you cannot take out of mutton salna?
I can remove my ginger garlic paste and caramelized onion and coconut. These three ingredients is my base.
So, as long as it has those ingredients, that's gonna be salna.
Heart of this dish.
Okay.
Our coconut, peanuts, and coriander and mint leaf paste. Not much, only
Oh,
4 spoon.
not all.
Not all.
Okay. It kind of changed the color.
Yeah, it's changed
Yeah.
color as and my texture also, my gravy's texture also.
Yes, yes.
In last we'll add 2 spoon of ghee
Ah, okay.
for aroma.
And make it rich.
Yeah, make it
shiny.
rich and shiny. I will serve you.
Okay, okay. And we gotta have some of that sauce because we really worked hard for that. It's so soft that you can simply pinch the meat with the paratha,
Yeah.
like this.
Yes.
It's so tender. And
First you feel your lamb taste, then in last you feel your paratha taste.
yes, yes. And then the sauce is like it's very bold, it's very flavorful. And I think the caramelization of the onion. And really cooking down the tomatoes and cooking it for such a long time, it really breaks down all the ingredients to create one flavorful.
Flavor by flavor.
Yes. Oh, and the coconut as well. There's a bite of
Yeah. Coconut, peanut,
yes,
flavor
yes.
of coconut.
But it's subtle. It's still
Yeah,
balanced.
it's balanced.
Indian cuisine is such an art in a way that it really balances everything out.
If you know the balance of your spices
Yes.
and how to cook, so it's getting juicy and tendery.
What is your advice for me?
Mm-hmm.
Because later, I'm gonna be cooking my Filipino Indian fusion.
So I want to suggest only one thing. Whatever you're preparing, you just give your 100% involved in this dish.
I will.
You also feel happy, and definitely you feel like a familiar,
Yes.
heart touch.
I will. Thank you so much, Chef
Thank
Rohit.
you.
Thank you so much. Now that we've covered both sides of the story, I am so excited to take all of those learnings and pay respect and homage to both cultures to make the ultra mega Indian Filipino fusion dish. Let's go back to the studio. Let's go. One order Filipino Indian fusion dish coming right up. One thing I observed from Miss Katrina's and Chef Rohit's dish is they both start with aromatics and they feature onions. For this part, I'm gonna adapt the Indian way by using a lot of onions. I don't think it will overpower the dish because the method used by Chef Rohit is actually caramelizing the onions to the point that it almost melts into the sauce. So the onions will actually lose their very sharp, oniony flavor but become milder and mostly sweet, which is a flavor that's not foreign for kare-kare. So one of the things we learned cooking with Miss Katrina and Sir Ruston is that kare-kare is not kare-kare without the side of bagoong. So we'll follow their recipe to honor that tradition. And yung na-notice namin sa Pampanga is hindi kasing brown nung mga typical na jarred bagoong, yung bagoong nila doon. Gusto nila na medyo pinkish pa, hindi siya ganun kaalat. And because this is already cooked, I want to get my tomatoes. Tomatoes? Yes. Lalagyan natin ng tomatoes yung kare-kare natin because I really admire how deep the flavors get. We see it being used by Chef Rohit in his Mutton Salna, but we also saw it in Star Punjabi earlier today with curry, which takes us back to our history talk with Sir Ruston Banal. And if you do pre-cook your mutton, please save the liquid. That will be our broth. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some of the broth in here. Ang goal kasi natin dito is really soften everything that's solid in here. So we're just simmering. And we'll also, again, flavor the meat. And also, we were supposed to color our oil with annatto seeds, but I was afraid it would hinder with the caramelization of the onions. So I'm gonna color my kare-kare right now while it's boiling with annatto seeds and a strainer like this. Ayan, super red niya na. Wala masyadong solid vegetables sa mga Indian dishes that we saw earlier. I think the vegetables is part of the kare-kare experience, so we'll keep that. Ayun nga, Didi's is a legend to Kapampangans, so we're gonna use that. And that means we're gonna need only the toasted coconut and the coriander and mint leaves. Sabi nila, wag daw maglagay ng coconut milk or coconut cream sa kare-kare because the peanut butter is gonna be rich. I don't think sacrilegious ang paglagay nitong toasted coconut kasi hindi naman siya makaka-add sa creaminess nitong dish. Once it gets this color, chill it a bit, and we'll process this with some fresh coriander leaves and mint. We've come to the scary part. Magtitimpla na tayo. Ito talaga yung pinaka-challenge when cooking Indian cuisine is to really balance out everything. And for me, na hindi pa super familiar with all of the spices, ang strategy natin dyan ay uunti-untiin natin yung lagay. We're gonna add in our peanut butter. Isusunod na lang natin itong toasted coconut and coriander. Ayan na! May chance nang hindi na to masarap. Okay, okay, okay. Interesting, interesting. And I picked a few spices that I think will work for this recipe. I skipped the chili powder dahil sabi nga nila hindi daw dapat maanghang ang kare-kare. But I kept the turmeric, onti lang. Katakot. Cumin and the coriander powder. Oof. The pechay is gonna cook really, really quick, and I don't want to spend my time adjusting the seasoning while the pechay is already there. So, let's taste now. I mean, it looks like kare-kare. Yeah! It's literally Indian and Filipino in one dish. The flavors are there. I think it just needs a bit of salt. A bit, tas ang dami. Ayan. Not too much kasi nga maalat na yung bagoong. But I'm really happy that it makes sense. Ayun. Eh. And that is it. I feel like we did such a good job honoring both cultures. On the Indian side of things, the caramelized onions and the super cooked tomatoes really gave this dish more depth, and the addition of Indian spices just takes it to a whole nother level. On the Filipino side of things, we got all of those integral parts of kare-kare here. Oh, we have peanut butter, we have a medley of vegetables that are actually stewed with the sauce, and of course, bagoong. And it could never get more Filipino with a side of steamed white rice. But basmati para Indian pa rin. Cheers! Sarap. It's the best of both worlds. You get the homey, comforting feeling that kare-kare gives, and you also get this interesting journey with different layers of spices from all those Indian influences we added here. I feel like I'm gonna make kare-kare like this from now on. Ang sarap. I now have a new answer to interview questions like, what's your favorite video to shoot? I honestly found this shoot super, super enjoyable because we really learned a lot during the process of the shoot. We found out more about our own culture, but we also saw how we are connected with other cultures as well. And at the same time, this dish really proves that food is not just something we eat for survival or a mixture of different ingredients, but it really is something that carries cultural significance, such as our history, influences from people who have traveled here in the Philippines, as well as how Filipinos localize those influences to fit their palate and to maximize the resources that they have. And that is so beautiful. I highly recommend you try this at home and just be curious about the everyday food that you eat, because you'll never know the amazing things you'll discover, just like we did in this video.